Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back to a brand new episode of Around the Outside. This is Ian Shea.
And Mike Dupont.
Your hosts for tonight's episode, and we are talking about the Mexican Grand Prix. Excellent track, always delivers. Like I said last week, that second sector, Mike, could be, it's up, like this later half of the season has some pretty fantastic areas, and the second sector in Mexico is one of those areas.
What an unexpected banger of a race.
Yeah. Yep.
Like the first 10 laps, oh my goodness. It was it's exactly what we want in F1. Like it was battle after battle. It was awesome. It's making me just want more of it. You know, we haven't had anything like that all year, right?
Not as sustained, maybe earlier on in the European leg. I can't think back that far. The short-term memory ain't gonna cut it. But
when was the last time we saw 4 cars into turn 1?
Not in a very long time. Not in a very long time, and that's what's special. That's what was making this track so special. It's when you get the long straights like that at the start of a race. You know, there was a complaint that Formula One, it was George Russell, I think, who said it first, and it's kind of agreeing. Formula One's becoming a race to turn 1.
Yes.
And watching what happened in action after the words that were spoken was pretty highlighting. It was a nice little highlight to underscore. There is the word I wanted. It was underscore the words of George. But luckily, the race panned out to be a race and not a hold position in DRS.
The race was wonderful. I thoroughly enjoyed not only the race, but the entire weekend. They didn't show Checo much. Huh?
I didn't see him at all from quali or racing, so we were wrong. But I did see an F1
wrong.
girlfriend.
We saw a girlfriend or two. We were totally wrong about Checo. Yeah, I don't remember. I'm with you. I don't remember seeing him once.
I was very disappointed.
I mean, I thought we were going to see Checo in Cadillac here and everything. Maybe he's still under contract or something and he can't do it. It's kind of the only reason that makes sense to me. Or there's like a legal obligation where he can't be there. But yeah, no, the race was spectacular. Loved it. And I can't wait to get into all of it. There's a lot to unpack. But I think before we get to unraveling the weekends and what went on, we had a little special email coming from a friend, I believe, Ian.
Yes, this shout out goes to Randy G, who wanted to, and thank you, Randy, for giving us extra context for the Apple TV takeover. The first piece of context, we said 140 million total. It's per year. So no, F1's not getting the shaft. It was like $700 million, quick ATO math, that they're making off of this deal. So now it makes sense. You can't deny that sort of money coming in for 5 years. When I read the 140, I was shocked at the low amount and said that's why F1 got the hose. And then Randy gave us more context with F1 TV Premium. So just to clarify, the F1 TV Premium is included with the Apple TV subscription. So you're going to still have all your favorite people like Laura Winter on the shows that you love through your Apple TV subscription. And because of different tier pricing for those who have like the FTV Premium, you will be saving money by switching to Apple TV. My Pro tier, I would be spending more. So, Randy, thank you very much for reaching out, first of all. It was awesome to hear from you. Love conversing with you. Second, thank you again for the additional context. We're two people. We are going to not include everything or skirt over something, which is why we were so happy to see your name pop up in the inbox. Third, for all of you listening, around the outside F1 at gmail.com. hit us up. We'll talk to you. We'll include areas in the show that you want to hear, or even take things out that you say, hey, you know what? I think it could be better if you went a direction like this. We're going to try it out. Our main goal is to provide you with the best central to us and you show available about F1. That's what it's always been about, y'all. We love Formula One, and we love sharing it with you. So, Randy, again, thank you so much for reaching out. It was great to hear from you.
We love you, Randy. Thank you. In a great little blurb at the end of your message where it's like having a beer with F1 friends, 2,000 miles away. And happy to announce that Ian and I did a little TV show with our last episode. And Randy, you're going to be able to look at your friends very soon on our YouTube. So we can enjoy a beer together via video. So we'll keep you updated with that, but that is coming. So very happy to announce that. So if you guys prefer your F1 content on YouTube, you want to actually look at the two fools that we are as we ramble, you will be able to do that, and we'll get a bunch of other little editing in it to make it entertaining.
At Around F1 is the handle on YouTube, which is fitting. I think that it's nice that was open. I was very happy to see that pop up. So thank you again.
Thanks, guys.
To Mexico we go, because there is a lot to talk about, quite a lot to talk about. I want to open up with Quali, and the first mention of Quali has got to go to George Russell. I heard a stat. He was only out of the top 10 one time, and that was Monaco. Mr. Consistency. And I want to talk about George just for a second, because his driving has been inflappable this season. He's really grown into the maturity that you knew he would be back in Williams. All throughout the karting, you hear people saying, that's George Russell. That growing up, like guys like Lando Norris, Alex Albon would say, oh, look, there goes George Russell. He's a world champion. And you can see why. It's a shame he doesn't have the equipment underneath him right now to get there, but with what he has, flawless season so far.
I wish Mercedes would have put him in sooner, and we could have saw him versus Lewis when it was actually like the Mercedes was really good, and Lewis was at the top of his game. I would have loved to have seen that.
Would he have been too much of a threat?
I don't know what would have happened, to be honest with you. George probably would have been a little bit slower than Lewis, and then kind of gradually turned into the driver that he became later on in the very last couple of years of Lewis's time there. George had a good handle on the team, but George has just been so good that we've been scratching our heads week after week why he didn't have a contract for so long, because it's not like he's been like Ian said, he's been Mr. Consistent, always qualifying top 5, always finishing top 5, the rock for Mercedes. It's good to have someone like that when your other drivers, Kimi and Antonelli, which, besides Max, George probably has the biggest gap to a teammate, right? Besides
Charles and Lewis,
Max.
dude. I have to say it. I have to say that the Charles and Lewis gap is a real thing.
Don't do it. Don't.
I know. It hurts, but if we're gonna hold Daniel Ricciardo to a standard, and if we're going to hold drivers, you can't deny the statistics behind it. I don't know what the qualifying rates are, who has more, the number. You just know it's Charles. I don't have to think about it.
yeah, it is.
So he's a part of that group now, which is a shame to say. You know who's getting into a better group? Bearman, 3 Q3 appearances in a row.
And
I
followed
could
it
not
up
be
with
more stoked.
Same. It followed up with a tremendous race.
Yep.
Best race of his life.
Yes.
Like literally best race of his life. Best finish. But would he finish 4th, right?
5th, 4th. Tied for Haas's biggest placement in the history of the team. P4.
Yeah, only
Oliver
matched
Bearman.
by Grosjean, and that was years ago.
Right. 2015 or 16, something crazy.
Yeah, it's like a decade ago or something.
Yep.
Crazy.
And it's nuts to say that Haas has been in for that long. They're now a tenured team. Don't know how they've made it. Gene Haas has said racing comes down to being stubborn, and apparently he's very stubborn.
Oliver Bearman fourth. I mean, how many people had it on their bingo card that Bearman was going to finish ahead of Piastri in the race?
Nope. I didn't. At all. I figured the kid would P8 to 10. That's where I relegated him. Because you can have a fantastic quali, but your race is going to be something different.
It's a testament to what you said earlier and what George is saying. If you get through turn one in a fairly strong position, you don't throw it away, you're not going to have a lot of threat.
Right. Right. And this is what's crazy, though, when you look at the time difference. So in Q3, or going into from the Q2 runs, the final Q2 runs, from P8, P7, P8 to P12, they were all 0.5 behind the leader. To fit that many cars in a tenth of a second together makes me wonder why it is they can't overtake. Because with the DRS and battery deployment, you should be able to have the advantage. But the following is what's screwing everybody up, the dirty air. And clean air was king this weekend.
Love for them to just shrink the cars, make them lighter. I mean, just Bearman qualified 10th and finished.
I thought he qualified 5th. Oh my gosh.
2025. I got the Mexico qualifying results in front of me right now. His position 10th for Bearman. So like, it's not like he just had one crazy lap in Q3. Like he climbed
that's
6.
Insane.
Yeah, it's insane. It's the drive of his life. It's absolutely sick.
Well,
drive.
He took advantage. We'll get into it, but he took advantage of the gaggle.
Yes, he did.
At the beginning. Quali let us know one thing and one thing for certain. Oscar is not comfortable in that McLaren. There is something that has happened, and he said post-race, and he's that there's something that the car isn't responding to with the driving style he's been using all season long. What causes that to happen, Mike? What drastic change occurred?
I think it's a lot of little changes. For some more context, Oscar Piastri qualified 8th, while Norris qualified on pole. The time difference between teammates was about 6-7 tenths.
That's a lifetime. That is a lifetime difference.
It's a mammoth gap between the two. So what is going on with Oscar? Lando is hitting his stride at the exact right time, while Oscar is hitting his low in form. Last year, the latter races, Oscar was not very good at all in any of those later races. Lando basically finished higher than him in every single race. So it's not looking promising for Oscar really to be able to just magically start scoring more points than Lando. So like can he possibly turn this around? It really feels like Lando has found something with the car. And it's not really so much that Oscar is slow, but Lando's faster. That's what it feels like. And I've heard Oscar in interviews say things like, it feels like a good lap, but the time just isn't there. And the other car has time, so that there's got to be something that we can find. So it doesn't really sound like to me that Oscar's like, man, I'm just really not with it. Like it feels like to me that he feels like he's doing a decent job and he's scratching his head a little bit.
That's what's concerning when you put together a good lap, fast feeling lap, and you're almost a second behind your teammate. That's worrying.
It's like the Red Bull second seat, man.
Yeah, it is.
It's got Red Bull second seat syndrome.
Tinfoil hat, Mike. Did they start tweaking the car in Lando's favor?
So many people have been talking about
I mean, they've changed suspension for him.
So many people have been talking about this.
Are they hamstringing?
Okay, so everything McLaren has done thus far has been an attempt to keep it even. Why at the very end with the goal. That's the attempt, with the goal that no one understands or no one really looks at, but their goal is to keep the team together. They want to keep this driver lineup. They want to keep the same. They want to keep this structure for years. So I think they're managing the team with that intent, that end goal in mind. So why would they possibly sabotage one of their drivers? I think it undermines the entire effort that they've put into place so far. That frustrates the hell out of F1 fans. But how many reasons do Norris and Piastri have to be like mad at each other right now? Like not a whole lot. I think it's kind of a testament to the way McLaren's managed it. Albeit it's been awful for us as fans. It's what they're trying to. They're trying to win and keep the team together. They don't really. They're not really looking out for our best interest. They're looking out for theirs. All right. But yeah, I mean, yeah, it just feels like Oscar's hitting the bottom and Lando is hitting his ceiling for performance, and it's happening at the exact same time.
It's happening at the time it does not need to be happening for Oscar. It wasn't a strong showing for him for a majority of time until the end of the race. But before the end of the race, let's talk about the beginning of the race, because I'm all qualied out. I've got nothing more for quali. It was a great session.
No, it was good. I mean, Norris, he didn't just destroy his teammate, he destroyed the whole field and followed up in the race. So I think we're Kimmy, and a little shout out to Kimmy. I love my little Kimmy Antonelli. You did good against George, making progress. Yeah, on to the race.
So 4 wide, turn 1. Someone's about to obviously go into the runoffs and corners are going to be cut. Lewis Hamilton did bring up a strong point when he talked about Leclerc, who cut the corner and took a place from him. Lewis felt like he was robbed, and there wasn't much. Really, you think so?
Absolutely. Lewis was mugged this race.
How come? Wow, I can't believe you're saying that.
Oh my God. Yeah. No, you should have kept the position. I mean, you watch Max's onboard of going off track there. Like it's crazy for me. I mean, Charles basically did the same thing. He just went a different side of the track and came out ahead of Lewis. And yeah, cut the corner. It's in the rule book. Yeah, they should have swapped positions. And then later on, Lewis gets the 10-second penalty for just basically doing what those two guys did at a different part of the track.
Well, and that's the thing, the runoff. You could see I didn't know if that was the runoff road. That piece
my guess is they told the drivers, if you go off here, you must take that runoff road. If you don't take that runoff road, you're getting penalized. And Lewis made the decision to not take, and that's why it was like, we talked about this 10 seconds. I bet that's probably what the discussion was in the driver briefing.
That's what it had to be. It didn't look wide enough to fit a Formula One car, but apparently it was.
It looked like a go-kart road. It looked tiny.
Right.
Yeah.
And
agreed.
Then I can see why Lewis took the actions that he did. But if it was that quick, like you said, to only echo, he screwed up his own race by doing it. That's the thing that I can't support. I can understand the opening of the race being affecting him negatively, and sure, but then you threw it all away by not taking the runoff. And that's when Bearman got involved too. Way to hold off Max Verstappen in the beginnings of Sector 2 through that sequence of corners. Good for him for going off track and swooping right back in front, and that means he kept his foot in while going up against Max Verstappen, who's hunting down a championship.
Can't believe I'm the one defending Lewis. How the tables have turned in this podcast.
My boy. I can't. Sometimes, Mike. Sometimes you just gotta.
He wrongfully finished the race in 8th. He should have finished the race in like third or fourth. Like, absolutely.
He was on for a podium. He needs to get a podium. I want him to get a podium. He can't get podiums if he drives like that again. There, I said it. All right.
I think if we wouldn't have had a VSC, Max would have got Charles and Lewis would have been 4th if he didn't get the penalty.
And please, let's talk about the VSC, because I think this is what I'm afraid that Formula One is going to turn into when we talk in the blanket of safety or the whitewashing of the use of safety. I found the VSC to be 100% unacceptable because it was the slowest part of the track. The driver wasn't even in the car. It was a bit behind the barrier. It was still exposed. I'm not going to say the car, at least 3/4 of it, wasn't exposed. But you saw where Carlos went when he spun off. And that's mostly where people are going to go when they spun off. He did everything he needed to keep the race alive. And to have the FIA call the VSC out for something in the slowest part of the track with the world's best drivers where no one's going to be overtaking, really. You couldn't even see it on the feed. They had a hard time. I know Julian was like, "Where is the car? Like, where is this car that's causing the VSC?" And you see it tucked into a corner. That's unacceptable to me. That is when you have to put into place that the conditions of the race in that current moment and the skill of the people in that area. I don't see why that needed to occur. It killed the race.
It would be great if the FIA had a better system for getting safety cars turned around a little bit quicker. Like, I totally agree. They absolutely could have let the race start up, but honestly, the race is kind of over. Like, what were we, like lap 68, lap 69 when we got the VSC? I don't remember precisely. Was it 67? And
they were only lap 70. It was
okay. So it was like,
yeah, the last lap.
At that point, I think if you're a seasoned F1 fan, you're just like, okay, the race is over. This is the final position. It's like, yeah, like I don't like it, but like as an F1 fan, I was just kind of like, okay, that's it. Here now. I'm a Charles Leclerc fan. All right, so I'm a little biased here. Right, I was happy to see my guy retain second. All right, Forza. But I was kind of like, it is what it is. You know, like this is F1. This is what I'm used to. You know, we got one lap left. This is a safety car. It's going to end in a safety car. It's been this way for years. But the reason why the VSC continued was kind of ridiculous. So is this a knee-jerk reaction to what happened early on with Lawson?
How so?
Sorry, it was following the turn 1 incident. There was debris and a marshal came out and Lawson almost hit a marshal. So are they being super cautious because they literally almost had a driver hit a marshal earlier?
That's horrible situational awareness. They don't need, I mean, obviously training, of course. I think it shouldn't. Why would you send a person out at the fastest part of the track? First of all, on the fastest part of any track of the season. So let's think about the context of turn 1 versus the 40-mile-an-hour corner where you had a car tucked in with no people visible. The context in which the VSC was deployed was not appropriate. You should have deployed a VSC to get the debris out of the way at turn 1. You didn't need to deploy a VSC for a lap where no one's going to try to overtake. Simple as that. They got to look at the context. And there has to be trust that these are the best drivers in the world. Whatever happened to double yellows on a mini sector, Mike, that is the unequivocal. Is that not saying no overtaking, hazard on track, be cautious? In the 40-mile-an-hour corner? Come on. And that's the slow, like that's a reasonable ask for that area. Now, if he even with that, I'll just stick to that because I'm not even going to do I'm not going to talk in hypotheticals because we have the current and actual situation in front of us. It's the context that they need to be careful of. And they weren't. This is where the whitewashing of safety is. This is my argument against the whitewash of safety.
Would this happen if we had one race director? Would it be better if we had a Charlie Whiting
I miss Charlie so bad.
With
I
these
miss him.
situations, would we have more consistency? Feels like track by track, depending on who's running the race, who the stewards are. It feels like we get it's the rulings are inconsistent. Yeah, it's just it's kind of frustrating for Vince. I get that.
Yep. But that's where I want to stay for the argument of safety. Is the turn one incident is unacceptable. That should have been a VSC. That should have been shoot a full safety car even.
Yep.
If you want to take it that route.
Honestly, probably should have been a safety car. We don't want to see like drivers almost hitting marshals.
No, it's like in that
should
that
never
clip
happen.
that you see in Canada where the driver or where the steward falls in the middle of a track and a dude's coming around turn 3. It's from like the 90s or something.
Right.
Early, yeah, that's unacceptable. But the VSC not needed in that situation. That's all I'm going to say. I don't.
It's like we want you to be safe sometimes.
Well, I mean, you're signing up for a sport. At what time is it that you're signing up for a sport that can kill you? Where is the responsibility on those who choose to do this job? You have to put some responsibility on the fact that, it's an extreme sport. Now, putting people out into harm's way like that, steward in turn 1, that's unnecessary, not needed, and that is reckless endangerment because there is protocols for people who are volunteering to clean up the track and be there. These guys, for the weekend. So you think of it in that kind. They aren't the professional drivers who are getting paid millions of dollars to drive a car 40 miles an hour at a double hairpin. There's the responsibility of having to understand that you are in a sport that can kill you. And yes, every precaution needs to be taken, which is why we don't argue with the Halo, which is why we don't argue with the Hans, which is why they're the most studied vehicle for crash tests. And they have, 75G crazy requirements for any vehicle. That's why it was so shocking when you saw Grosjean's car catch on fire. Modern Formula One, an incident that bad, that's insane. Watching a simple crash in the 90s, you think to yourself, this person could be dead. And now you expect them to just walk away fine. Look at what happened with Max coming into in England when he connected with Lewis. That was a massive crash.
Yeah, Silverstone. Yep.
Walked away. Look at what happened to Joe when his roll hoop broke. Walked away. So there's the argument that you can't increase the safety of the safety cell or the vehicles, even the rules themselves, as we're seeing. Okay, like there has to be a give and take from the fan side of these people are putting their lives for a sport or their lives on the line for a sport. Let's be aware of that and let us give them the opportunities that they need to be able to compete at the highest level because they're not thinking I could be dying. It's a shift. From what I can understand, if you listen to the likes of Martin Brundle and Jackie Stewart, who calls himself a survivor, not a racer, he goes, when you put the visor down, you're a different person. You think differently. You just don't have fear. Even Charles Leclerc has said, I'm not afraid behind the wheel. And all drivers admit they can't be afraid behind the wheel. But to have a larger net of safety, there's nothing wrong with that. I'm not arguing against that, but I'm arguing about the context in which safety is applied. And this is where the nuance of the conversation needs to begin. And I think we have the stark contrast in sending a dude out at turn 1 of the fastest point of any racetrack for the season. This is where Bottas had the land speed record for Formula One, 235 miles per hour. That's insane. And they're braking at 150 meters at that? Maybe. It's you can't even comprehend the close and gap from point A to point B at those speeds because a car shouldn't be able to do it. And those guys are able to do it which is why a 40-mile-an-hour corner when 3/4 of a back end of the car is showing. Okay. Like that to me is where the line is. That's where the nuance begins.
Yes. Definitely should have taken more precaution at turn 1. Maybe slightly less to end the race.
Overcook, undercook.
Yeah.
Bottom of the pile, unless you have more hot topics.
Well, I think we'll get into the championship battle in just a moment here.
We will.
Alpine.
Zero movement. To Colapinto's credit, he was 4-6 in qualifying. He beat out Gasly 3 times now.
Gasly.
Something. So that was good. That was good to hear. It was a positive note for the weekend. After that, I don't remember what happened with Alpine. I just remember them getting lapped and passed. So
that's pretty much all that they do these days. Colapinto finished the race in 16th. Gasly finished in 15th. And I know what you're thinking. 16th, 15th, that's actually not too bad. It's not 20th. Well, everyone up behind them DNF'd. So it is 20th. What's going on with Gasly? What's going on?
He's got senioritis.
Is he just checked out for the rest of the year?
I would be.
Like, I'll just race next year's car. I'm just going to chill the rest of this year.
I'm waiting for that Mercedes PU.
Yeah. I'm going to save all my pace for next year.
He's resting up.
He's resting.
He's taking a page out of Lewis Hamilton's book.
I was just going to say.
Resting up.
Yeah. How long until it's the Lewis Hamilton story? Yeah, no, there's a lot. So we got to see a bunch of potential F1 drivers of the future in P1. Alpine, they're looking at Paul Aaron, I believe.
That name sounds familiar.
And that's who Colapinto is up against. So, yeah, anything he can do to beat Gasly, whether it be qualifying, whether it be the race, is good for him. Because that Aaron guy's fast.
Kick Sauber. What happened to Hülkenberg? He was just. Did he get clipped or hit some incredible amount of damage? Because he DNF'd, if I recall correctly.
Yes, he did. I can't remember why he DNF'd.
Who cares? He got a podium. I don't care.
He did. He got a podium. He's already won.
And he did good last weekend, so he's still showing that I'm relevant. Good for him. You know what? Good for him. He went to the moon with his podium. Yeah. He did good last weekend. He deserves a weekend off in his mind because of all the facts that we just laid out. Good for him. I'm proud of him.
At least he DNF'd early on lap 25, so he could go home sooner to his family.
He'd even stick around for a debrief. He was doing a Zoom call interviews on his private jet going home. That's what he was doing for his media needs.
Come on. You see the way his family celebrated his podium. I'd be doing the same thing if I were him.
Bortoleto from P16 to
Bortoleto,
if I recall correctly. And he did have an incredible overtake on Ollie as well.
He had a bunch of overtakes, actually.
I'm very impressed with him. Another point, and this has really spiced things up because there is now a battle going on for Haas and Kick Sauber. Kick Sauber has 60 points. Haas and P8, 62. I'm really looking forward. I am looking forward to that battle because you have two teams that they're right within that 1 to 2 gap of each other.
Okay, hear me out. Hear me out here. What if they both overtake Aston Martin in 7th with 69 points?
Possible. Why wouldn't it be possible?
And we see Aston Martin finish in 9th. I think it's plausible. I mean, we just had a Haas finish in 4th.
That's an incredible haul of points. What's going on with Ocon? Where did he finish, Mike? He's becoming irrelevant.
No, he finished in 9th. It's okay.
He finished in 9th? Okay.
Yeah, that's okay. He's just not Bearman. So that's the part that's not okay.
That's what I mean. He's becoming irrelevant in the fact that he's still doing something for the team, but he's not the source that we expected him to be. I expected him to be this
His
season.
contract will probably not get renewed, is my prediction.
Yep. Carry him. I'm not sure if they have him through 2026. It would make sense to have him through 2026, and maybe that's where his veteran experience kicks in and he can show that he has some life left in him to be Ollie's teammate or be on the team, because he needs to be beating Ollie, which, again, that kid is showing incredible form in the final part of the season too, which is where the mental drain and the physical drain must be at its highest.
So, we're checking, Charles, hold on. His contract is a 3-year deal through 2027.
Oh, through 2027.
So he's going to be sticking around for sure.
Wow.
So he got a chance to kind of redeem himself.
I wonder if there's an option in there. There's got to be an exit clause.
I feel like all of these contracts have performance clauses in them now. If you don't do a certain standard, then the team can get rid of you. And vice versa. I mean, we've heard a lot in the media and in the press about Max Verstappen's deal, very publicly. If he doesn't finish in third or fourth in the championship, that he can go get he can opt out of his contract. So we've heard other extremes as well. Yeah. So Esteban, I don't know. It's more of the same. But it's just Bearman's doing so well. It just makes it look that much worse for us. I don't think Esteban's doing that bad, but I never thought Esteban was amazing. Esteban was always just been like good. Like if we were to put drivers on different tiers, like Max would be S tier, but Oscar and Lando would be like, maybe A tier. Did you say that? I'd put Ocon at like B, maybe C.
He's always
depends on where you put the rest of the drivers.
He's a solid midfield choice. That's what I've always believed him to do. And when these teams are starting to crack into the points, that's when the expectation of, oh, wow, you got 8th. Oh, you got 10th. Woo, amazing. And now it's, hey, we can get 6th on a consistent basis. That's where that's where the best of the rest live. P6. And that's extremely difficult to do. They need the consistency out of the two of them, because one thing you can say with Ollie is this just his comet moment where he's the bright thing in the sky for that moment?
Yeah, it's been the whole year though. And like he's had some weekends where he's been bad, right? Like Ollie's had some disastrous weekends in Formula One.
True.
His first year, to go along with these really good weekends. But this isn't just a really good weekend for Ollie. Like this is a monumental weekend for him that like guarantees he's got a long-term future in F1 kind of performance. Like that's what something. So
would you say he unlocked Super Saiyan to go back to my favorite anime?
It may be Super Saiyan 2.
Yeah. Who's still working on getting 2 Super Saiyan is Lance Stroll at Aston Martin. Q3, you're not out of Q1 again. Is that correct, Mike? Do we have another?
The interviews. I'm still pulling my hair out at the interviews. Like you watch the post-race debrief. You got these drivers giving super thoughtful responses. They go through things. And you got Lance, he just spits on you. How can he get away with this? Don't they have certain media obligations where like they can't just Bill Belichick the whole thing? I don't understand. I don't know. Alonso did not finish the race. Another weird retirement.
I just saw him pull into the pits and then didn't hear an explanation. Okay.
And Stroll finished in 14th. If we actually want to talk about where they finish, but I'm just venting about Lance Stroll's interviews.
Well, they're 3 points behind Racing Bulls at 72 points. So that's another fight for P6 right there. Racing Bulls is holding strong. Liam getting knocked out of this race didn't help. That obviously to state the obvious, but Hadjar didn't have a strong showing too. He finished P13. And where did he qualify? Like, where were they qualified?
Hadjar actually made it into Q3 and qualified ninth. He looked like he was going to be tremendously fast. Put in one of the fastest times in Q1, or like, yeah, a super fast time in Q1. It actually was it the fastest time in Q1? Actually,
he was up there.
It at least was the fastest time for a period of time. So like, Hadjar absolutely was showing his pace, but yeah, the race did not go his way.
That's another battle. So we have, from technically speaking, P9 to P6 open. 12 points with 4 races left for Kick Sauber. That's a tall ask. That one won't be happening, but let's focus on Aston Martin and Racing Bulls. Alonso, in my mind, has all the work to do for the remainder of this season. And he's going up against 2 drivers that could get P10 and P9. There's the 3 points that Aston Martin needs nicked right off of them. And Alonso, I mean, you can count on a P8. He needs a P8 in order to overtake them, and that's millions and millions of dollars at stake. Williams again with a shitty strategy for Albon. He called him out again and said this is the worst strategy ever. And you could see it when he came in. Where did he finish, Mike?
Good question. Alex Albon finished in 12th. Sainz did not finish.
That
we know,
tap on the wall. I can't believe it broke his suspension.
Lap 67. So they had a couple laps of VSC. It came out lap 67, lap 68. Yeah. Williams looked pretty good. Again, like they're clear of, the rest of the field. I mean, Sainz qualified in 7th. Like there was pace in that car. Absolutely. Albon has really been strong.
And he's had a phenomenal season, which is weird. The numbers aren't adding up to what we're seeing, especially given the haul of points that he's brought in to Williams. So to watch him struggle like this, you have to lean into end of season woes. You have to lean into they're already in the 2026 mindset. And the worrying part, though, is the strategy that he's been lamenting on a consistent basis now. That's the part.
Yeah, Williams made the decision to just basically leave their drivers out there. And Albon basically said, we let the cars in front of us pit, and then they passed us before we actually went. Like, it was an abysmal strategy by Williams. So Albon has every right to be upset. They were swapping the cars. It was not a very enjoyable race for Alex. I think a little bit of Alex's form is kind of unlucky. A little bit of it. And he was so good at the beginning of the year. It's probably good to get a little bit of confidence for Sainz to be beating Albon a little bit. So like, if I'm James Vowles, I'm probably not too upset because I think my other guy's gaining confidence where before only one of my guys had confidence. I think this is helping Alex really, but I don't think it's hurting him too much. He's got all the confidence he needs out of the first, three quarters of the season. He was fantastic. So, yeah, you're trying to look at the bright side, but a little dipping for him, but I think he's a little unlucky too.
Red Bull 10 points away from Ferrari in P2. So from P4, Red Bull Racing 346, P3 Mercedes 355, P2 Forza at 356. The possibility of Max bringing home P2 for Red Bull, I think, is something that we should not entertain, because when you're talking about Mercedes and Ferrari, their 2 drivers are going to be collecting more points than he can bring in singularly, I think.
Absolutely agree. I mean, the real question with Max is, can he still do it? Does he still have a chance at it?
At the drivers, yes.
Yeah.
I think he does. Because right now in the driver's standing, it is 357 points to Lando Norris, 356 to Oscar, 321 for Max. And that's only a 36-point gap.
36 points. Yep. But going into the race, it was 40. So if he only shaves 4 off a race, he's going to be quite. It doesn't matter how bad Oscar is if Lando wins the race.
Right.
So, and when Lando's winning the race by 30 seconds, how could you not back Lando at this point? Looking at what's transpired the last couple weekends,
Well, we've seen these forms of brilliance from Lando before, but we haven't seen a consistent form of brilliance from Lando, which is why I kind of prefaced with Ollie, is this a meteor moment? Is this where he's just going to shine bright? With the issues that Oscar's having in the car, having to change your driving style this late in the season is a bit worrying, because why would you try to attempt anything that hasn't made you the championship leader? He has to adapt to something at the most inopportune time, I think, to adapt to his driving style. Max has that to his advantage. I think that he can overtake if Piastri continues with this lack of confidence in the car. It's done. He's going to lose to Max. Max now needs to beat Lando, but let's see what happens, because if we think about Canada, for instance, the pressure decision making of Lando, he could have learned. It seems like he has bounced back, but what if, just bringing in the possibility of what if that's still attached to him in these upcoming races? What if he tries to do too much in quali, knocks himself out, goes to P10?
I think
that's always a possibility.
This has given him enough confidence. Like we had the similar trend, right? Where at the start of the practices, going into the beginning of qualifying, Norris was always like a little bit faster. And then Q2, Q3, Oscar would just find another gear, and he'd out qualify Norris, and then he'd go on to win the race, right?
Mm-hmm.
Oscar's just not doing that anymore. And I think the fact that Lando's beating Oscar by this margin, which is a massive margin, it's going to give Lando a ton of confidence. So I don't really think he's going to suddenly fall off. I do kind of feel like Oscar's already out of it.
That's what's worrying.
That's what it kind of feels like. Like, you got to look at last year. Oscar, these were really poor tracks for him. Norris basically, like we said earlier, beat him on all these tracks. Yeah. Doesn't look great if you're an Oscar Piastri fan.
What's the resilience of Oscar? That's the question that I'm asking. He can turn it around.
Yeah, he can.
He can. It's not impossible. What is
Mark Webber saying to Oscar Piastri right now? He's got his arm over his shoulder. Like, come over here, Oscar. What is he saying, Oscar?
How could you do this to our country? How could you do this to me? Do you have any idea what this means for me?
You were the one, Anakin.
Yeah. That's the conversation that I'm, like I said in our text, he's like the dad that is going to push his kid to be an MLB star so he can have relevance. That's the that's the cover. You were the one, Anakin. That's what I think is happening there. Yuki Tsunoda, does he have a drive for next year, or will he be driving for Red Bull next year? I think so. He's doing just as good, if not worse, as anybody in that second seat.
I completely agree with you. And the only one that can take that seat from him is Hadjar. But goddamn, does that P1 practice 1 performance look bad, where you're the only guy that got out qualified by the rookie, Ovid Lindblad, who came in posted a faster time than you can practice. Now, we don't know what practice plans they were running, but that's really not a good look to the board when the young guy just came in and did a faster lap than you for the, on the board, Lindblad is higher than Yuki. And I saw that, I was like, God, this really, like, did Yuki just lose this drive because of a P1 session? Did Yuki just lose this drive is what I was thinking. But Hadjar keeps not quite being good enough, I think, to throw in the seat. Not quite having just enough. So I really hope that they hold out and keep Yuki, but every weekend we're hearing how Hadjar's the favorite. Hadjar's the favorite. Yeah, I mean, we talked about this last week.
We did.
Yeah.
Mercedes and Ferrari. This is an exciting battle. Forza
close.
It's got to come out. Forza Ferrari.
Forza Lewis.
Dude, this is a weird paradox we've got going on today because I was so upset with everything that I was watching him drive. He had it. He had it for a podium, and he gave it away with that stupid corner cut. And, of course, he's going to be angry that nobody got called out for their corner cutting, but it was the turn one, you can say. So, I was so disappointed.
Yeah, I mean, like we said earlier, Lewis got absolutely shafted. Me, a Leclerc fan, totally deserved the corner. Yeah, it's super unlucky. I don't know why Lewis didn't take the escape road. He probably would have lost like one position, but like it's way better than 10 seconds. But Lewis is over here thinking, hey, everybody else is going off the road and not getting penalized, so I'm going to do it myself. Like, I feel bad for Lewis. And like, he was fast. He was pretty quick. In qualifying, he was only like a 10th or so off of Charles. You know, Charles posted a 15.8. Lewis posted a 15.9. Like, Lewis did a good job. I love the way he's carrying himself. It really feels like with his interviews that he is taking on the number 2 role. Like, and he's like, he's okay with it.
Well, it's got to be a lapse in pressure. Of course, he did say that I'm not going to be like the other world champions that came here and did not deliver. Let's not forget it is the great Kimi Räikkönen that delivered the last world championship, drivers world championship for Ferrari. So I know Lewis has that drive, but this late in the season, it would be cumbersome for him to try and fight for that P1 first driver throne, if I may, at Ferrari. That is obviously Charles's. He also, to his credit, is bringing in change to Ferrari, and we've heard rumblings from Fred of just saying, okay, like enough, in his way of saying enough is enough. Like we're getting there. But the time it takes in order for the DNA of Lewis Hamilton to become a part of that team, I believe, is what was really working on the background of this season. And I'm hoping that's where the focus was, so we can see better results, because once again, late form Ferrari is something to be reckoned with. Because when I look at the Constructors Championship between P3 and P2, Mercedes Ferrari, I think it's George versus Charles and Lewis versus Kimi. And George versus Charles is quicker in that Ferrari, but on his day quicker, where George is, he's getting minimum P5. And that is the haul of points that Mercedes needs. So this is going to be an excellent back and forth. It's one of those, Charles gets P4, George gets P5, Kimi gets P7, Lewis gets P8. That's exciting. I mean, they're going to balance each other out right until the end of the season, but I'm going to have to give favor to Ferrari because they just look like they are in that late season fast form again.
Yeah, I don't know. 2026 is going to be our year, guys.
It's our year, 100% our year.
It's our year.
We were just resting up. We were getting used to having so much championship fighting power that the engine technically couldn't handle it. You know, that's what I heard through my connected sources at Maranello, was that there was just so much power in the engine they couldn't get it to the wheels. That's what they're working on right now. with no traction control, it's difficult.
Yes.
All of that is a fantasy. I have zero connections. This is just my tinfoil hat theory to make an excuse for why
Lewis
hasn't
in.
delivered.
I want Lewis to succeed. And
there you
do
go,
well.
Mike. Let it in.
I want him to do well with Ferrari. He has to do well because we literally dropped an A-tier driver for this guy. So like, please come good, Lewis. I need you to beat Lewis. I need you to beat Charles occasionally, dude. That's it. Just occasionally beat Charles. I'm not expecting you to beat him all the time. I think Lewis right now thinks Charles is the fastest teammate he's ever had.
Yes.
I think Lewis thinks that.
I cannot think of anyone who's put up Jensen Button is the only other, and Alonso. So right there, we're talking about 3 world championships. That's the caliber that Charles Leclerc is.
So,
okay.
I mean, Forza. I hope he does well next year. I hope he feels more comfortable in the car. Do I think he is going to straight up beat Leclerc in a battle? No, absolutely not. I would not even remotely close to thinking Lewis is going to beat Charles in
he's going to get his 8th
calendar year.
He's going to get his 8th.
Now the tables are back where they're supposed to be. Now they're back where they belong. All right, let's stay here. Let's sit right here. Let's not go anywhere.
He's getting his 8th. Gosh. Dude, could you the thought of him getting 3 separate
it would fucking kill me, because that means Charles is in a car fast enough to not get a championship. It would absolutely kill me if Lewis got a championship in Ferrari.
Because then it would say that Lewis is better, which would kill you. It would. That's what it would be. And then 3 championships with 3 constructors, brother. That puts him, I mean, come on. What other qualification besides all the other records that he holds that you need for the greatest of all time?
Here's the thing. He never beat Charles. Never. ever. There's no gap he can find that's going to bridge what we're seeing right now. Never.
He has been resting up for an entire season.
Let's go. Let's get the boxing gloves on, Charles, Lewis. Let's duke it out. Who's going to be the lead driver of Ferrari? No, jokes aside, I want them both to do well, but yeah, obviously I favor Charles. Ian favors Lewis. We'll see who wins. Yeah, all in all, Ian, we have 4 races left, right?
And we're going to Brazil next, in another amazing track. This is a short track, always delivers, and it's a classic. Never change it, never leave it, never move. It happens the 7th through the 9th of November. So we have, what is that, a week off? If I can do math, yeah. Look at that. So that's when we'll be talking to you guys next. Thank you all so much for tuning into this episode of ATO. We love Formula One, and we love sharing it with you. Want to give a shout out to our friends in Australia. We've just been noticing the listenership has been coming in steady from your neck of the woods, and we just want to thank you all so much for the support, and just in general, the worldwide support from all of you. Thank you.
Love you guys. See you in Sao Paulo. Subscribe to the YouTube. We got videos going up there. It's going to be awesome. Check it out.
Give you something.
Forza
Ferrari.